Tay marker. Action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? I'm Ryan D, aka Ryan680, and my special guest here with me tonight. What's going on, man?
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Yeah,
I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, man. Tell us the podcast. Right out the bat, tell us the podcast. I know y'all came out with a recent episode. Is that correct?
Well, I featured on the Revenge of the Sequel podcast recently,
Awesome.
covering Halloween. We have to do some horror content, so we covered the third movie for the second movie for Nightmare on Elm Street. But
Awesome.
We do still have a catalog of episodes for not in theaters. We're looking to coming back possibly in like a special episode with video as opposed to just like a straight audio podcast. So follow Revenge of the Sequel from Delphin Pod and not in theaters as well. And once again, thank you for having me, Ryan. I'm super excited to talk about.
Let's talk about this. I mean, you got the child over there. I got my child over here. Luckily we don't have to pay child support for this, but yeah, we're good.
I know. You don't have to worry about that.
Right. Yeah. Let's get right to it. I mean, the season 2 of The Mandalorian, guys. I mean, I was anticipating this to be like, wow, great, amazed. And man, I was actually pretty amazed with this, with what we got out of here. This is the longest episode so far. It is rumored that this would be the longest episode. I believe, Lex, you said it was like 55 minutes.
I think officially it's 58 with credits and everything. So about 55 minutes of actual content.
Yeah, guys. So we're going to talk about spoilers at the very end of this episode. So if you want to go ahead and skip ahead and go talk about spoilers, I'll put it on the comments down below exactly when we talk about spoilers. But right now, we're not going to talk about any spoilers. We're going to, let's get right to it, man. So let's digest this. Right off the bat, we did get straight into the world of the Mandalorian, where he follows the adventures of Mandalorian. Just following him exactly where he, to be honest, following him exactly where he left off. It seems like,
I would say so as well. It picks up. It's not. There's no sense of like, oh, it's been 3 years, 2 years, things like that. I think it's just right off the last adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, man. I loved it how much story was in this. Like, I loved it so much because you could feel the story, you could feel like the structure, you could feel just the direction of this series. And man, Disney Plus to launch this, right now with everyone's quarantined and everything, some people were opening up or whatever, like getting ready for the holiday season. Like I think October from now on, it's just October is going to be the year for when The Mandalorian comes out. Like no matter what, I think they're trying to aim for that because it's been successful for them. And again, okay, so season 1, we got it hyped it up so much. I guess let me ask you real quick. Do you think season 2 could be as good as season 1 or better? Or what's your going into this, before when we watched the trailers for this, when we watched the trailers for The Mandalorian season 2, what was your did it live up to the hype of episode 1? What was your
No, so I definitely I really like where season 1 ended with and I really do think that because of the big hit that Mandalorian was, both financially, amongst pop culture, there was memes every single week on it. I think Disney is doubling down, and this first episode kind of shows it. It shows the backing of the entire company into making this the best possible product. I'm pretty sure they got a big budget check bump from last time. I think you can tell from the get-go. And I'm just, when you have the backing and the same team that delivered season 1, with even more people kind of supporting it, the directors coming on board, like I just think it's a formula for success moving forward.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I would say, here's the thing. To add, I guess it's no secret here. If you have seen the episode, to see new actors come in here. We see from Santa Clarita Justified, we see Timothy Olyphant. And here's the thing. I was so happy to see his face. Like, I recognized his voice when we first spoke. I was just like, oh my God, that's him. That's Justified, Santa Clarita. I always love his style of acting. Just because I've seen him, with The Girl Next Door. I've seen him do all those weird, the crazies. I've seen him do almost to a sense to where I see him do different roles, serious roles, really effed up roles, really different, different kind of roles. And I wanted to see him grow in this and to see, I mean, how do you, my wife Angela was asking me too. I was all like, hey, how do they approach him? Like, hey, you want to be in a Star Wars? You want to be in a Star Wars series? Oh, hell yeah. Like how do you
that's
like,
all you have to say. Like you want to be anything Star Wars. But also I did notice as a fan of him as well, like he got a similar role to what he's used to. I never saw Justified, but to my understanding in Justified, it has the Western style. I think he plays either a marshal or something close to that.
Yes.
So they're playing to his strengths and kind of like the roles
Space Marshal.
Basically a marshal in the environment of Star Wars. The episode itself is called The Marshal. Exactly. So there was a big focus on him, and I think that's what, with cameos moving forward, it seems like Mandalorian's really going to expand. In season 1 there were some people that were famous, but then they played like stormtroopers and things like that. So I think everyone's gonna want to dip their toes into.
I want to dip my toes in. You want to dip your toes?
Yeah.
You want to be a stormtrooper? Yeah, let's do it. Jon Favreau, sign us up, man.
Or even in bigger roles, I think it's Jon Favreau and everyone involved in writing the episodes. They're using these actors to their strengths. Could have sworn it was him, but I'm actually not finding it. But anyways, it's just a collection of these actors kind of like jumping in and once again being spotlighted into the Star Wars world. So I really, really like that. I think he was one of my favorite parts of the episode as well. So it's not that he was introduced and it was just kind of like, they could have cast someone else, right? Like I just really like what he brought to the table. Like people jumping into the stormtrooper roles. The one I'm referring to is a little bit different, but I have to pull it up. I have to find out exactly what episode it was. But I think we're gonna see more of these, and with him, with Timothy Oliphant. I don't know exactly how to say his last name.
I just go with it.
But with him, like I know the casting news had come out a while back. They just didn't say what role he was gonna play or anything like that. But I have the feeling that there's gonna be people we didn't hear about they're gonna pop up and we're gonna be surprised.
So good thing we're mentioning on the cameo role. So Sasha Banks is in here, guys. That's Snoop Dogg's cousin. Sasha Banks is also from WWE. She's a superstar in WWE. She's a women's champ, if I'm not mistaken. She just won the women's title. So she's the women's champ. And to see her actually, it looks like she's a Jedi. They give her hints that she's actually a Jedi in the trailer that we got. Yeah, in the show. Yeah, that's Sasha Banks. Yeah, so that's also another plus out of this season. And here's the thing, like we're gonna see different cameos. Also, now that we're on the touch of cameos, it's actually John Leguizamo is actually in here as well. He's in the very first episode. He actually plays a monster, which is the eye monster we see in this very first episode. But so going back into the story depth, I mean, just dude, the story depth in this was just very structured. It was very toned, and I would say it was very expanding, I guess, as far as the sand people. They encounter these sand people and we see a different light besides Anakin just annihilating them and yelling at them and just destroying their race. I mean, we've always known the sand people to be these people that are just there, that are evil and bad, and they're just after everybody and just trying to, we don't really see that they're not necessarily human, but they have they're grounded. Like it's just, we get more of that sense in here. We see more sand people working with humans. And it's very different to see, I guess. And I feel like with Jon Favreau, I feel like he's giving us a different side of the sand people that we have never seen before, and it really touches up on that. I would say. Again, we go back to Tatooine. That was awesome. I mean, that was a really good. I mean, I love that we went back to Tatooine to see that. I mean, to see how this world expands. Also, that I really did love that it kind of shows the characteristics of the history of these characters, and it shows that a lot because he lands at the same dock, all that stuff. So it goes back to that. But yeah, I mean, what was your what do you call it? As far as character development, I mean, did you see, besides seeing the little child hide, I mean, dude, that was the best. Pretty much this episode was like, we were seeing the child hide so many different areas, so many different times, and it was real cute. I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure. This episode, I was surprised how there was little involvement on paper, little
yeah,
involvement of the child in the episode itself. Oftentimes, it was just getting reactions of him
yeah,
hiding, things like that. But at the same time, we did see how in a very like subliminal way, like Mando has changed a lot since the
yes,
first season,
mhm,
and there hasn't been a long time, like a long time passing.
yeah,
But the fact that he didn't leave her with the same person he had left her uh, last time, he brought it with him. Like he's learned, he
mhm,
knows that usually the times that he was either trying to like not get rid of him but trying to leave him with someone else, like he
yes,
puts other people in danger and then he puts the child in danger.
yeah,
So this was a little bit of a change of play pace in terms of like she offers to take care of him and he's like,
yes,
no, like that's not what we're looking for, I need your help with
yeah,
this and this and that. And then he still
exactly.
brought him on board on the journey.
Yeah,
So that was a little detail I noticed that.
that's development right there, and we see that history right there. I
Mhm.
love it when series or even movies in general. That's why I love the Star Wars episodes. Is that you see that history, you see the characters learn from that history, and that's the thing that I love about seeing TV's films, everything. Like it's just I love when you see that because it doesn't feel like it's oh hey that didn't happen or
Yeah.
hey oh like oh it's almost like okay the very predictable moments. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like he knows he's not going to do that. He's not going to make the same mistake twice. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And we see that, and not like the Scream movies. You make the same mistake all the time. Like it
Yeah.
just, it's one of the like I'm yelling at the Scream movies. But anyways, yeah, I just, and you see that. You see him actually wanting to take care of it. Before he was just like, I'm trying to get rid of it, leave me alone, or whatever. Like I mean, he was, protecting it, of course, trying to leave it at the right places, but it's almost just like now it's safer with me. He's come to
Yeah.
realization it's a lot safer with me, no matter what. Even if I get through tight bundles, and right off the bat, we do get a fight sequence that I'm actually really did love. I love that little fight sequence right there. I love the different, more characters, more creatures that we got out of here, more species, I would say, that came in this, and I love that about it too as well.
Yeah,
But
something that I liked about that first, like the opening shot or the opening location, was
yeah,
a I wouldn't say a problem, but an opportunity I had with season one of The Mandalorian was that if a lot of times, with the exception of towards the end, but a lot of times throughout the whole season, we just kind of revisit back the same places. And if it's not
yeah,
the same place, it looks very similar. And so I think I had heard other people make mention of that the Star Wars universe, we're talking about a galaxy, but location wise, sometimes it feels like we're seeing the exact same spots that
yeah,
the old trilogy had, the
and
prequels, and
yeah,
it makes a galaxy feel like, okay, well,
it's
the
not,
solar
it's,
system, or
yeah,
right. And but what I like though is that this opening location, they didn't disclose like the name of the planet and things like that, but the
yeah,
fact that it was a planet where like the buildings had graffiti, and it was
yes,
like alien graffiti, that's
yes,
something we hadn't seen before, and I
yeah,
noticed it right away. I was like, damn, like I've
expanding,
never seen this on any Star Wars movie and video games and things like that.
yeah,
So it immediately told me like, okay, they're expanding. And then the next mission, like, and this place was like, there's fight clubs and stuff like that inside.
yeah,
So that was cool. And then they're going, he's like, you have to go to Tatooine. I got worried and I was like, okay, we're back to, we've been there the first season. We were in the prequels in the original trilogy. Uh, but the Sand People, what they did with them, and what they showed us, the city with the Marshal and stuff like that, that kind of turned a Tatooine visit into something new. And then they expanded on the Sand People and the history, like you
yes,
said.
yeah.
It made them more human, but even like showed us how like
More emotional, I would
the
say, like just more,
yeah,
more emotion besides being these angry people, and
yeah,
and
they
that's the
have
thing,
wants
yeah,
and needs.
yeah, and I feel like and the funny thing is, in a weird sense, I know this is probably totally throwing off the board. People are gonna hate me on it, but even to a sense to where it felt very that they're basing on current events right now, political stuff. Like it's just two different kinds of species, two totally different kinds of people that communicate totally differently, and they could still work together. They could still
Yeah.
come together for a cause that's coming after, and it's coming after both species. And that stuff, I felt like they got a little, I don't know. That was just me. Maybe it's too much political right there, but I think
No,
it's just,
I mean,
like it's just too.
it's a
It doesn't
universal
matter.
tale of
Yeah,
people that don't get along with each other having to come together. We've seen
exactly.
that in movies. We've seen that in shows.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I'm gonna let my cat out real quick. He trapped himself, but I'm still
Okay.
talking. Just 2 minutes, or
No,
actually
you're
just
good, you're
30
good.
seconds.
No, you're good.
But
You're good.
what I did want to say with that is, I didn't like personally think of it that way, but it does make sense because once again, it
Gotta let
goes
the cat
into
out.
that. And at the same time, I like how it wasn't like, oh, like it's all sunshine and rainbows just because we're working together.
No,
Mandalorian specifically said that, until someone breaks the peace, we good.
exactly.
So it's still kind of like,
We
hey,
good.
they're gonna
Yeah.
fight back if they need to. If y'all mess up, they're gonna get on that, and you guys are gonna have problems again. So I
Yeah.
like the realistic part of it. It's not like the sand people suddenly turn into non-threatening beings. It's just they had a common goal. And speaking of the common goal, like the creature itself
Yeah.
that was terrorizing the city, it was. This is where you could see the budget. The effects were really
Yes.
good.
Detail, very good. Dolby Vision right
Very
there, ladies and
detailed.
gentlemen. I mean, dude, it looks so detailed. The graphics, the whole special effects team, like you said already, it got a huge budget up, and you could just feel it. You could tell.
Yeah.
Even the ground. I mean, obviously, the good thing that I love about Jon Favreau is that he knows how to work the camera. He knows how to pick
Yeah.
sets. And when you pick, I mean, let's be honest here, the bottom of the set, the sand, obviously, that's all real. That's live, dude. That's in the desert. They actually have those masks on. It's hot as hell. I mean, they're working their butts off to make this, great content out there. And yeah, I felt that so much. I felt so much grounded there. I felt so much connection there as far as just throwing out those two different species working together for a common goal. I love that about here. And then also we got more emotions out of the Sand People, I would say, in the adventures. And I really did love that a lot. As far as character development, we see a little bit of character development, even with Timothy as well, the Marshal. We see him a little like we see him relief. We see him like, oh, it's over. Like, and even at the very end, he's just like, I hope our paths cross again because you helped us out. I mean,
and I really like how they did a flashback sequence with his character.
Yes.
Felt like.
Yeah. We'll go into the spoilers real quick right about now, but let's go to ratings real quick. We'll mention that. You'll be able to mention that.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, I think it's the first time that at least that I can remember from Mandalorian that there was like a true flashback sequence to expand so there's a cameo, but then it seems like this character, they're really establishing him for either a future introduction, but once again, a flashback would let us know where they're coming from and stuff. So I didn't want to say too much because I don't know where the point is, but just know there's a flashback to fully develop this character that we were just introduced to.
Yeah, most definitely, man. All right, let's go to ratings, Lex. So ratings 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. What are you gonna give this rating, man?
I would say this is a solid like 9 for me.
Okay.
It's a strong start to the season. There's a little bit of everything, right? Once again, the exception was probably the child's involvement, but his presence is there. Once again, I think it sets the tone of, at the start of last season, we didn't even know that maybe Yoda child existed, right? We didn't know that was what the show was going to be about. Now we know. Now we kind of sets the pace, like he's along for this journey, and at the beginning there's exposition as far as like what they're trying to do and who they're trying to get to. So I think the only reason it's a 9 as opposed to a 10 is because I want to see that full commitment of like, okay, let's expand. Let's not. I want to see the commitment of it not feeling like each episode it's its own mini adventure. I would like for them to start actually putting it together where like everything feels like one big adventure. We're seeing pieces of it.
Yeah, and we do get that obviously with the very end of the the scene of this episode. And but yeah, I just I'm gonna give this a solid 8. I'm gonna give
Okay.
this a solid 8. Just because it was a really it's a really good episode, guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very good episode. It expands to where we get a sense to where exactly does. I mean, let's be honest here. We've been to Tatooine. This is probably like our 100th time going to Tatooine in a movie /
Yeah.
if you add up the movies and the cartoons and just if you add up everything all together, we've been there 100 times. Again, I did love the very first planet that they went to, the system that they went to, because they didn't mention it. It felt very new. Again, as far as I know, the Mandalorian was actually in the Outer Rim this whole time. So that's why that was always all like, okay, so they're focusing on the Outer Rim. And then because a lot of the scavengers, a lot of the, in season 1, a lot of people were just like, oh, who are you? They don't know what the Jedi are. They don't know what, all this stuff, because they're not part of the Republic, for one. They weren't a part of the Republic. They weren't a part of the Empire, but they knew the Empire because they were conquering systems left and right. So, I mean, I just, into a sense to where I felt like, this I want to see expand. I really do. I want to go to new planets. I wanted to see, I want new planets, new systems, and I want those people, different kinds of species, whether it be Jedi, whether it be Sith, whether I want to see that connection where, I was at Coruscant when when Anakin came and annihilated the kids or whatever. Just I want to see those connections there, those flashbacks, and excuse me, and we did get that in this one, but we'll mention it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. But yeah, guys, if you have not already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're gonna be talking about spoilers right now, guys. So if you want to stay tuned, guys. So let's get started, Lex. We're gonna talk about spoilers, guys. Spoilers. Hope you're ready for this. You ready to talk about this, Lex?
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
All right, so let's get right to it. So the very first thing we get, is the fighting scene, and we do get Jabba's old friends too. We see the Jabba creatures there, or Jabba's, army creatures in a sense. We see them there fighting it out.
Yeah, the guards. I forget I know they have a name for the creatures, but yeah, like the guards, right?
Yeah. Two Gamorrean.
Okay.
Yeah, Gamorreans, yeah. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or pig-like. I don't know. I just see pig. I was all like, dude, you're just like a space pig or something different. But yeah, so we do see them. We see the Tuskens, and we see the mammoths, which are the banthas. There you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, the banthas in there. So we see that too. We see a bantha get annihilated in there. that was crazy.
Two of them, I think.
Yeah. So it's funny. The funny scene that I did love about this was the sand person was coming out, walking out, trying to feed it, and then it eats him.
Yeah, instead of the bantha. Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? We do say Pilo Moto, which is the lady that at the dock. We do see her again when he shows up at the dock at Tatooine. So we see her again. We see how we see the chemistry between them, how they progressed a little bit as far as like now you like droids now. Like it just you see that history there. I love that about it. Those little tidbits are like Jon Favreau saying like, hey, I know what I'm doing with this. I'm gonna expand this world. I'm gonna F this world up and to make it upscale. I don't know why they don't get Jon Favreau to make a Star Wars movie. I don't know why. I mean, they should. He should make a Star Wars movie. I think he's the most anticipating director to do this. I mean, besides Taki, he's up the road to make the Star Wars movies. But I feel like Jon Favreau should make at least one of them.
Well, I think I predicted last year when we were talking about I think it was during one of our podcasts like together, but I called out that I think Jon Favreau, because of how good he's doing with The Mandalorian, he may start to act almost like a Kevin Feige, specifically for Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a potential, maybe not directing his movie, maybe that's not something he's interested in, or if he is, or maybe he's the one that kind of wants to be behind the scenes, piecing everything together, and then having someone, because I mean, even with The Mandalorian, like he's letting directors take a shot at each episode, right? So I think last season, Jon Favreau, correct me if I'm wrong, but he directed only 2, or was it just 1?
I think it was 2, and then Taki did 1. Oh my God,
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, and then I always say Taki. I don't know what. What's her name? From Jurassic World.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, she directed, I think, 1 as well. So I mean, you see, he gets other individuals that are like, hey, did you? I mean, I'm pretty sure they all connected somehow, right? Like they all have they all talk to each other, and obviously, and they're just like, hey. Do you want to take a shot at this? You want to take a shot at a 30-minute episode of Star Wars? Hey, you want to do it? He's still overseeing it, but they're directing it. So it's like he's like a producer in this a lot. And this one he actually directed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did.
He actually directed.
It was a really good job. Yeah,
you
can, a really good job.
Tell direction. That's why I love it when a film or a series you could just tell right at the bat, hey, we're getting a story. This is what the story's going to be about. Hope you're ready for this. Like I love that instead of just like throwing out these backstories everywhere. And here's the thing. Here is the thing, Star Wars fans. Here's the thing that I hated Last Jedi, that I hated. I just like, I could go on an hour rant, but here's the thing that I love, and we're skipping ahead to where the backstory scene. That is how to show us a backstory. How long did it take, Lex? How long was that scene?
It was maybe like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, bro. That's it, dude. That's all we want. Like, you can't just create a character or a droid or just be like, hey, here you go. Oh, here you go. There's no connection whatsoever. Just, I want you to love him in the next 5 minutes. Like, it's just, or pushing characters towards us. Oh, Rose. Okay. Like, it's just these different kind of things. Like, it's just, I want it to where you got to have a grounded story. You have to have a grounded backstory. To be honest, if we would have got a scene with Rose, like hearing about, Finn or, whatever, just, I could have been content with that. I could have been like, okay, she was there all along. Here's this backstory, 5-minute scene of her just like, seeing Finn as he takes off in the episode, in the Force Awakens or something, or, to a sense to where like there's connection there. You know what I mean? Like you need to create these things to where there's the connection always in the galaxy. Because this is a galaxy far, far away. There has to be some way for people to connect in a galaxy system so big, so wide, Outer Rim. We talk about Coruscant, the Republic, Knights of the Republic. We get hints of that as well in here. I mean, just so many different styles of canon, non-canon. We could go on and on about this. And I love this because, it shows us to where like anything is possible. You know what I mean? Like anything is possible with this series. And I love that about it. We do not go to Mos Eisley, but we do go to Mos Espa. Espa, right? If I'm saying that right.
Yeah, it was something like that.
But yeah, so again, that 5-minute scene, man, the second Death Star. I love that how he's all like, second Death Star, of course. Like, I love that because, everyone's cheering, the Empire's gone. I really want to see Millennium Falcon like somewhere in that little digital thing. Like, oh, what is that? Oh, that's the Falcon or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Just a little hint. But I was happy just to get that. Like, dude, that was awesome. I love that connection there. Were you excited for that connection?
Yeah, no, I was excited to see that. And it's like, to agree with you, like it's important to show the relationship. I think it was particularly interesting because it was, these people were around when the second Death Star got blown up, when the trilogy, the original trilogy wrapped up, right? Yes. But I think most importantly, it spoke on the characters, right? Like it spoke onto the, hey, like 5 minutes after the second Death Star got exploded, some bad people came around, right? So it kind of like added a layer of like, evil. It has many shapes and many forms, right? It's not just the Sith, it's the influence and the hunger of power, right? So like I think it was very important just to see the hardships that the people of this small city went through, despite what one would think was, oh, this is the introduction of peace. That's not always the case. And so I like that it was realistic about that, and that they showed like, hey, someone had to step in, someone had to set these people right and protect my city. And then he earned the respect of those people that he was ruling over as the Marshal or protecting. And so it turned him from a character that could have been like, oh, like, I know we haven't mentioned the armor thing, but
you can go ahead and mention it. Go ahead and mention it, man. The iconic armor. Yes.
So the way we're introduced to the Marshal is, Mandalorian is looking for another Mandalorian, and so it's like, hey, there's rumors that there's someone over here in Tatooine, and it turns out it was the Marshal on the iconic Boba Fett armor, and the helmet, and the helmet chest piece, and the jetpack too, which was cool. But yeah, so it turned him from someone that like at first when they introduce this character, it's like, oh, it's like it's a show off. It's someone just trying to pretend.
Mhm.
But no, like the way they showed the power and confidence that the armor gave him to protect his city, like that
Yes.
was really cool. And once again, it's not only that they're showing as like, hey, there's a relationship to, you know, the original trilogy. It's more about like the impact that there's still
Armor.
conflict, there's still people that need to rise up, and they're not
Yeah.
Jedis. So
Yeah.
once again, John Favreau has done a really good job at letting this universe be successful even
Mhm.
outside of the need for Jedi. So I know there's, you know, this journey that they're going on to try to find other Jedis, especially for the child. But
Yes.
I think they've done a really good job at showcasing like, hey, Star Wars exists
Yeah.
outside of just Jedi and Sith.
Yeah, and also just to put on a side note there, because they're keeping it all in the Disney family since Disney does own Hulu now. Actually,
Partially.
well, partially, yeah,
Yeah.
FX as well. You know, he's actually right now currently on the season 4 of Fargo. He is also playing a marshal over there as well, a
Yeah, you
U.S.
see, I'm
marshal.
telling you,
Dude,
he
it's
just likes
that's his
the
role,
role.
man. Yeah, so he's keeping it all, you know, in the Disney family right there. So that's pretty cool to see. That's a little side note right there. But yeah, man, when we saw that iconic suit, I looked at it twice. I was like, nah, don't tell me. So as a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
I was excited, right? Oh yeah, yeah. But then when it progressed more and more, as a critic, I was just like, oh, don't tell me he's gonna show up at the very end, and then like he's gonna. I mean, it's almost like I feel like it was a little bit predictable. I was all like,
Yeah.
watch when he hands it to him, or if he does it. What if he doesn't hand it? Because at first I was all like, I thought Boba Fett was gonna come in and actually shoot in the middle of them to be like, that's my suit, or that suit belongs to me, but which would have been a little
Okay.
bit more cheesier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do get that, you know. I was excited for it. I really am. I just felt like that's what made it that's what made it a lower grade for me, you know. So like
the ending part where
yeah,
the actor that
yeah,
plays
so we actually
Boba
get to
Fett
see
shows up.
Boba Fett. That's awesome. That was great.
Yeah.
But I kind of anticipated that a little bit. I was like, watch, he found the suit, and watch, it's just gonna happen. So coincidence that it happened, even though he's been alive all these years. Where has he been at? What is he doing?
Yeah.
What is his motive? What
Well,
is he trying?
I'm sure that, yeah, I'm sure that's coming for sure. I get
Yeah,
what you're saying. I was predicting that as well. I was like, there has to be like you
yeah,
know, like the first season ended with the showcase of this little guy, you know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
it has to end on the big note.
Yeah,
I think the episode could have worked without it, but like I
yeah,
said,
agreed.
I fear a good part of the first season of the first half of the season for me, the opportunities where that these journeys would last a single episode and then the next episode is on to the next one
On to the next
without a
adventures. Yeah,
relationship.
that's why
Yeah,
I love
so
calling it the Adventures of Mandalorian, or the
yeah,
Mandalorian. Like, I love calling it that because it just that, you know. I mean, that's what you're getting out of this. You know, we're getting different kind of scenarios, different kind
yeah,
of situations, and we see this, and it looks like we're getting the high one. I think the high one's going to be the Jedi we're going to see, which is
yeah,
very high. That's going to be a huge. And and the funny thing is that I think that's going to be huge rather than seeing the child go up with his other species. You know, I feel like that's going to be, you know, big, but I feel like the Jedi one's going to be bigger because there has to be a connection of Coruscant. There has to be a connection of Luke or Anakin or just any connection whatsoever. Like Yoda, he's going to look at it, or she's going to look at it and she's going to be like, oh, that's Yoda. And she's going to even know who Yoda is. Like, where is she in this part? And then also there's rumors that, you know, Ahsoka's going to be in here.
well,
And
it's confirmed, I think.
yeah. So if we do get Ahsoka, like full on Ahsoka, where she fights and everything, that's gonna be amazing. I am gonna give that episode a 10 because I've been wanting to see Ahsoka in a live action for so many years. When I first saw her in Clone Wars as a kid, the 14, 15, you know, when the Clone Wars came out, I've been wanting to see her. I fell in love with her right off the bat. It just, you know, just seeing her grow and seeing her grow more in Rebels.
Yeah.
She's been around this whole time. She fought against Darth Vader and survived. Like, she's been around this whole time and behind the scenes. And that's the thing too. I feel like even Yoda, I feel like Yoda even knew that she's been around, like doing, I feel like almost to a sense to where like Yoda was telling her what to do behind the scenes the whole time in a sense. But that's just more deeper into nerdiness of of Star Wars. But yeah, so I mean, Boba Fett shows up. I mean, it seems like though he has 2 rifles in the back. I feel like those are not like his appropriate guns yet. I don't know. I feel like his appropriate gun, of course, is the iconic gun he always had with him, in the original. So like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I want to see more of him grounded as a character. Obviously this is, we just saw a real quick glance of him. I want to see more, of course. I want to see if there's a really good, strong connection there. There has to be a strong connection there. What did he not, since he did not get swallowed by the creature, by the thing, because that was a sucky ending. Let's be honest here. Boba Fett, the way he died was just stupid, idiotic. But then again, at the time though, they couldn't anticipate him to be so popular. I mean, look at what they did with Darth Maul. I mean, Darth Maul's another character, underappreciated character that everyone loved him after Phantom Menace. Yeah. Like after Phantom Menace, when they closed him out, and then Clone Wars just went in there and just went so dark into him and to his brother, and went more, expanded it more, and then Rebels expanded it more too. So it just, you have those side things that are side stories that are happening. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, so you did love that Boba Fett cameo.
Yeah, no, I did. It's kind of like hard to keep surprises like that in this world, right? Because like there had been rumors that the Boba Fett armor had been spotted on set, right? If you follow the news and stuff. But I mean, even myself, I wasn't trying to follow the news. I would just see the headlines and stuff, right? Yeah. And but it turns out like what was spotted was essentially what we saw in this episode, where it was someone else wearing the armor. But then and that's why I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe not. It's just going to be his armor showing up. But then like a few months pass and it's like, hey, like the actor that played Boba Fett has like a deal done, and so he's gonna show up, and so it's hard to keep those things as surprises. I'm kind of glad that they showed it from the first season. Yes. They're confirming he's alive. B, he's probably gonna play a big role for the rest of the season, and I mean the show is titled Mandalorian, right? And there's this one Mandalorian we've been following, but what happens when he collides with the reason why people love Mandalorians in the first place?
See, that's the next question. Is he, and we talked about this previously in the past, the Mandalorian episodes, or in Star Wars in general, he's a clone. Well, so technically he's a clone, but is he still Mandalorian? Even though he's let's be honest.
Is he?
So Jango Fett was the right DNA, and he's the one that gave his DNA to make the clones.
Oh, that's right.
And remember,
everyone.
So in episode 2, remember they even said it.
It was never a son. It was a clone.
Yeah, right? He unaltered clone for himself.
Gotcha.
And they even the Camino, they were even like, they were just like, isn't that strange? Like, isn't that like strange? But because he always wanted a son. He raised him as a son, so technically he's a clone. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I mean, but if you were to be accurate DNA match, he is a Mandalorian. They were Mandalorians. That's why they manifested them, because they're Mandalorians. They're powerful. They don't stop. They're real strong. They're really strong. A creed, I guess. And it's funny too, because even in Clone Wars, it was misleading, because at the same time though, in Clone Wars, you're just like, they had a queen. And Death Watch was after the queen, and you get a sense to where like you think it's a race, but in here they kind of went in depth on it and said it's a creed.
It's a creed, yeah.
So like it was kind of different though.
They people outside of their race and still label them as Mandalorian.
Well, see, that didn't happen until after when the Empire annihilated them all. So like before it was a race. It was just like, that's why Death Watch. That's why they were so like, we don't want the Republic. We don't want, anybody around. We just want our people to do our own bidding. We want to control our own, situations. We want to control our own troubles, not bring in outsiders, not bring in those clones that are fake, that are not,
not the real deal. Yeah, I get you.
So that's why I kind of got into a sense of that. But yeah, so I'm so excited to see where else are we going to expand to. Can't wait to see the Jedi. Can't wait to see. I wish every episode was this long. I really do.
Yeah,
I hope maybe the last 2 episodes will be that long.
Hopefully, yeah. That's what I've been saying. This is like kind of like the sweet spot. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was dragging. It didn't feel like it was slow. So hopefully that was one of my wish lists from last season is that they that they either do more than 8 episodes, but I was okay with 8 episodes if it was 8 like hour-long episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the Sand People actually got a pearl. Let's go in depth on that real quick.
Mhm.
Let's get a little Star Wars geekiness here. That pearl that they actually got is a dragon pearl, of course, with the creature that they beat, and that pearl actually becomes a kyber crystal later on, and
Really?
that pearl is actually in the Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
So
I didn't know
you
that.
can really touch up and feel of John, not just John Favreau, but Dave. Oh my God, what's his name?
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Filoni. You could just tell, like, dude, this is their baby, man. Like they're
Yeah.
really making this wonders, and they're expanding it even more. That's actually from the Knights of the Republic. So
Yeah, I
so
didn't
now
know that. So that pro is a kyber. What
it becomes a
uh
kyber crystal. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So and they even mentioned the crystals that are remember the Marshal. They even mentioned some of those crystals are actually in the Knights of the Republic too as well. Like those type of like I went in as far as like researched it a little bit. I was like, what
Yeah,
the heck?
like
What is
what
what is
the
that?
thing
Like
that they had on the little
yes,
cantrop thing, right?
yes. That's why the Jawas were so like, oh my God, those things are rare. Like they're he has so
They're
many of them.
rare.
Like yeah, they're rare, and they found it in the mine. Which are which they turn eventually those turn into copper crystals as well. So it's to where sense to where like, hey, this is it's all connecting. We're connecting it. It's all going to
Gotcha.
come together. And I love that. And I love that about it. Again, I mean, dude, and the funny thing is that I kind of anticipated this too for Boba Fett to come in this season
Mhm.
because the fact that they announced the movie, then they canceled it. Remember years ago, they announced, like, I think it was like 2 years ago, right? Or like 2, 3 years ago.
There was gonna be
They
a
announced the movie and then they canceled it. Like,
was that a movie or oh no, yeah, it was a
yeah,
movie,
with
yeah.
the movie. Yeah, yeah. They announced it. Disney announced it that they were gonna make. Oh, we're making a Boba Fett movie, and then they got all the bad feedback. They're like, oh wait, never mind. Like
Yeah.
it got canceled. So I think this is just as good. I feel like Disney, even the Disney executives, like even the Disney producers, all the people that are in charge of Star Wars stuff at Lucasfilm, I feel like they really wanted Boba Fett to come back, but they
Yeah.
just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing because this takes after in between in between Force Awakens and the Return of the Jedi. So there's that, you can only go so far
Yeah.
again, but they could do like, it just you can only go so far in between. And that's the thing too. We're going to see him interact with rebels in this season too. So
Yeah.
we're going to see that as well. So I can't wait to see that. But yeah, Lex, any final thoughts, man? I mean, just any final thoughts on your anticipation for this season, season 2, man? Episode 1, the Marshal.
Yeah, man. I think it's just one of the things that is kind of like it's like a blessing to have a show like this just continue to make us like fans happy
Yeah,
and in ways that we didn't know. Like we didn't know we needed the Star Wars
yeah,
Western show until we got it, and we're quite happy. We didn't know that we needed the enigma that is the child, right? Like
yeah,
we didn't know we needed that, and this, in spite of what's happened with the movie portion of the Star Wars universe, right? A lot of people were left not loving the Star Wars franchise as much or having just
yeah.
problems and being divided over that. But this show has kind of like been,
Revamped it.
yeah, it's been the thing where those people that are not so happy with what was going on in the movies, they're finding some sort of happiness, and they're finding some sort
Right
of
here, right here.
uh,
I just Rise of Skywalker was just it gets me a headache. I'm sorry. That was the
yeah.
most. My wife watches it sometimes, and I'm just like, I can't. It's like Justice League. I can't watch it. Like I'm just like, no, get out of here. Like, dude, like
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, and a lot of people felt that way. But I think once again, though they said that the Star Wars movies they're going to take a little bit of a break, right, while they figure it out. I know they're working uh, the Knights of the Old Republic era
Yeah.
movie. I know they called it something else because it's a different period, but
Yeah.
while they're working on that, I think this is a good strategy. It's a format that's working for them. We have the Obi-Wan show coming up as
Yeah.
well, right? They're going to resume
Ewan
production.
McGregor, man. The older he gets, the more better he's gonna look.
The better,
man.
the better it's going to work out.
Yeah.
So I think once again, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. A lot of people are happy. I just, once again, I hope they continue to double down on the right things, like keep the things that worked from the first season, but still I think it's early enough to they can try new things, and they can keep kind of setting like a bar for what this type of show and this type of Star Wars story should be.
Yeah, and most definitely, man. I totally agree with you there. And here's the thing, like, that's the thing, and it's funny too, because a lot of the comments that we see on the annual, even the annual pass holder page, are like, "Oh, Mandalorian season 2," and people are just like, "I hope it's better than the Star Wars trilogy." Like, it's just you have those people that hate on it, and I'll hate on it, yeah, but I'll still semi enjoy it because I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, shut that thing off," I'll just like, "Oh, okay, I'll watch it, I guess." Like, it's just one of those things to where, like, I just I guess the critic in me just kind of like, I mean, it's both though. Like, as a fan, as a critic, I really did not enjoy Rise of Skywalker. But here's the thing, so much connection from the Clone Wars. Even so I don't know if you remember in season 1 where they're actually trying to get out one of those one of the people that was wanted that's in the prison, or in that prison thing.
Mm-hmm.
The rebel, I don't know if you remember, the rebel that was actually in there, like, controlling the whole ship, he actually voices Anakin Skywalker in Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that actually.
Yeah, so there's like little touches there that Dave that really touches up on that, and really like, hey, you worked in Star Wars, you worked with us before. You want to be a rebel? Like, dude, like, come on, like, you want to be a major rebel in this? It just comes to a fact to where that they really have a passion for this, and you could tell that, you could feel it. But when this season started, you could feel like, oh man, the anticipation's killing me. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be another great season 2. I really hope so, because I can't wait to see what other vehicles we're gonna see. I can't wait to see what other weapons we're gonna see, what other cameo weapons, cameo vehicles, just different even mentions too as well. Like, I can't wait to see, if they're gonna mention Endor, they're gonna mention Dagobah. Don't take us to those systems, but mention them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a huge difference there. Like, I don't want to go back to Dagobah. I want to see different systems, different. I don't want to see Endor. I don't want to see different, unless there's like a huge reason why, or maybe just a different part of it. Like they did with Tatooine, because that's why I kind of felt like John Favreau even felt like he's like, okay, we're gonna go to Tatooine, but we're going to go different Tatooines no one's seen. We're going to do something different, because people are going to get mad if we're like, oh, we're just going to Tatooine again, same old again, Mos Eisley.
Yeah, same
going
thing.
Back.
Yeah.
Like, it just, you don't want to do that. And that's why when you have someone so much passion into this project, into this whole series in general, it's just like you really see that a lot. Man, I'm loving this one bit, every bit, man. I can't wait. I can't wait season 2 holds. But yeah.
And also, you did remind me real quick of the cameo that I was talking about. I got Simon Pegg confused with Bill Burr. Bill Burr is the one who came out on that episode, The Prisoner. And once again, Bill Burr, usually known for comedy, he played a pretty good role.
That's right.
And the reason I thought of Simon Pegg is because Simon Pegg has been in Star Wars movies, but it's usually like under prosthetics and things like that. But I also think they kind of look alike, so I got confused.
No, you're good, man. All right, there you go, bro. All right, guys. Well, if you have not already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like a review, guys. And hopefully, maybe you stuck with us this long, guys. We almost did an hour of this review. I'm sorry, we go real deep into it. This is how we're going to do it every episode. But yeah, as always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680. Special guest, Lex. Where can people find you at, man?
Thank you, guys. Well, once again, you guys can find us in terms of the podcast goes. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much Stitcher, anywhere you could find it.
Anywhere.
Once again, not in theaters. Please check us out. And if anyone is interested also in gaming, I do Twitch streaming as of recent. So you guys can find me there as well. The name of the channel is The Lex Level. So if you guys are interested in that, won't talk much about movies, but I do talk about gaming and play myself, a few set of games. So follow me there, check it out, and we'll be back, guys.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Catch y'all later.